All right, fans, back here on Sports Chat. We're going to shift away from UT basketball. We're talking about local athletics. We're going to talk about, we're going to go ahead and start out with Jellicoe basketball this year.
Jellicoe had a really good season this year. Congratulations to the Blue Devils for, making the run that they did in the tournament.
Mike Reynolds, heck of a coach. Has some great athletes up there. Cody Malacote was his leading scorer. Had a fellow named Brent Ayers that did really well, I believe was his name. Mike Reynolds also has a man on staff. A lot of fans down here may be familiar with by the name of Vic King. Now, Vic very successfully ran La Follette Middle School basketball for a long time. To the point I hated him growing up. I mean, literally, I had hatred for the man because I bled very deeply blue and gold.
There was a big rivalry with Jacksboro and La Follette. I was in middle school around the time Patrick was, and it was a big rivalry. Coach King was a very good coach.
He was. I mean, he got the most out of his players. And that's, what's going on in Jellicoe. Now, of course, Mike learned from Vic. Of course, current La Follette coach, Jason Dotson, Vic King coaching prodigy, part of that coaching tree, if you will.
I'll say this, we're blessed in the county to have really good middle school basketball coaches right now.
Another high spot. They both made it to the East Tennessee tournament. As high as it goes in middle school basketball. They don't play above the sectional level. You have an East, Middle, and West champion.
They made the semifinals each, so they're essentially two of the top four teams in East Tennessee in their division. That's excellent. It's hard to beat that coming from the same, just small area. Jacksboro, La Follette, Carroll, basically one small town.
For that matter, Jacksboro's girls made it to the second round of the sectional tournament before bowing out.
A lot of good seasons in the county in basketball.
La Follette's girls had a rebuilding year. They have a lot of young talent. Coach Morton is an excellent coach. And from what Coach Turnblazer told me, and I completely trust, he's a La Follette principal, great basketball mind, former Jacksboro coach. He says that La Follette girls team is going to be a team to watch in the next couple of years.
There was a lot of excitement for the Blue Devils. Their fans, busloads of fans, traveled down to their game in Rockwood.
In fact, I'm going to say this. I've never known of this to happen before. There was a great deal of support of Campbell County fans and players coming out to support the Blue Devils.
We are all in one county, and that's good to see.
When Angelico was a little bit down, especially during Luke's tenure in high school, and didn't do that well. But they had another sub-state team they didn't host, but they had another sub-state team. I believe it was your senior year, John. I was at ETSU at the time.
I seem to recall them having a good team around the early 90s. At the same time, Campbell County was having just a really dominating team.
And there wasn't a big groundswell of support to go out and support the Blue Devils on this side of it. Of course, again, Campbell County was in dominance mode at that point.
That's the year they started out around 25-0 before losing their first game of the year at Central. Were ranked in the top 5 in the state. It's Campbell County's last truly great basketball team. That was 19 years ago now. It's been a long time.
Now we've entered the spring sports portion of the year. Right. Campbell County's baseball team is off to a great start. I believe they are 5-3 now.
Yeah, they just swept Cumberland Gap in the series, and Patrick and I went up and watched them play against the Knoxville Ambassadors, and really crisp hitting the ball. Had a little bit of a rough start in the first inning, gave up 4 runs, but after that they settled down. Great pitching, great fielding. They said an all-around great game.
Yeah. I've heard some good things from on top of it. Most of the games that I've been to have been with the softball, with the girls on the bottom.
Now, we went to a softball game, but it's not fair to talk about how the girls did in this game because Carnes is the best team in East Tennessee.
That pitcher from Carnes was dominating.
She's considered one of the top 5 pitchers in the state.
She looked like a college pitcher out there.
And she had a gun.
And the Lady Cougars, before we forget, they had a great basketball run this year too.
They did. They made it to the region. They lost to a Farragut team that I want to say only lost 5 regular season games this year.
They had a very good squad, a very young squad.
That's right. There's not a senior on the squad. There's 5 seniors returning. At point guard, you've got Courtney Morris.
Which, Courtney, she's an all-around great athlete. I mean, she does basketball, softball. She runs track,
cross country.
cross country. Sorry.
She's very good at it, yes.
So
She's a good shooter. She's a good ball handler. She's a good leader at the point guard position.
right.
At the shooting guard position, you have Courtney Miller. She doesn't get noticed quite as much sometimes, but Courtney Miller is a sniper, especially from that 3-point line. She also handles the ball very well, and she can really drill the 3-pointers. In the post position, you've got Amber Young, who can just dominate physically. She can rebound like no other. And Shayla Goins also plays post and is also an excellent rebounder. And she's actually very good at those second chance points.
Yeah, Pat Summitt always says rebounding wins championship. You can out-rebound somebody, you've got a big advantage in the game already. You're just getting more possessions than they're getting. It's important.
Oh yeah.
And that's why they had success this year. They're poised to make another good run next year. And, everybody should get out and support the girls.
Kristen Chapman is the 5th member of that starting unit. She is kind of a wing. She's not quite in the post. She's not quite at the guard position. But she can do things. She brings a lot to the table. She was last year's state high jump champion in track. Jumped 5'7". She's Sherry Chapman's daughter. So she knows basketball.
Definitely some basketball bloodlines. Sherry was a great, great player in her time.
And Kristen is an impressive ball player. Also, there's a player, also a post player, also a junior, named Maria Faust. Missed most of the season after having, I believe, ankle surgery. At least she wore a walking boot a lot that I saw her. And that's generally a sign of some kind of surgery of that nature. She actually came back for the Farragut game, scored a couple points, If she'd been, playing all year, who knows what could have happened. But she's good. Little Samantha Leach comes off the bench. She's not very big. She's fast. She's a track girl. And she handles the ball well at the guard position. And there's a freshman named Hannah Owens. She gets a little bit bigger and stronger. She's going to be dominant in the paint.
The future's bright for the girls up there. I'm glad to see that Coach Browning has them going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Making big improvements to the basketball program up there.
Now, the boys team, kind of been a dark cloud over that program.
We'll have a lot more on the boys team in the next segment too.
Yeah, we're going to save that for the final segment.
Other spring sports, the track team.
They traveled to Grace Christian for an invitational today. Hardin Valley for an invitational today. They're both in West Knoxville. I talked to one of the track team members. She said they did pretty good today. She didn't say how things went, but she was cold, she was tired, and probably didn't feel a lot like talking.
It was a rainy day today.
And they actually just wrapped up the track meet at about, she was on her way home at 7 o'clock.
That's a long day. That's a long Saturday that those kids put in.
Oh, yeah.
Giving up their day off from school, they have to go travel that far and stay that long. They're dedicated to their sport.
And back to the Kristen Chapman thing, she's going to, barring some sort of injury, she is going to probably set the school and has a shot at setting the state record for high jump in track.
I'm really proud of our track team. Over the years, it's probably our most successful sports program at Campbell County.
We have sent, as far as Campbell County goes, as far as people who play college sports, probably goes track, then cheerleading, and then probably football. And football's a recent thing because we have...
Now, football, you have a lot of players on teams too, so that helps.
Right.
In track, we've not just had, we've had major college. Paul Province was a national champion at Tennessee in track, in the shot.
In the field events, yes.
I believe Aaron Osmus.
Aaron Osmus followed in his footsteps. He's now the strength and conditioning coach at the University of Southern California.
See, course, was at Tennessee on Lane Kiffin's staff, and actually said he would like to have stayed at Tennessee, but wasn't asked back.
Wasn't in the cards, and I can't bear Aaron any ill will for going out to California. He's doing what he loved, and he's got history at USC too.
He loves Tennessee. He loves, he loved being here, but
He had to go where was best for his
you have
family.
to go where the job's at.
I tell you what, his wife was in collegiate track. I want to say she may have at least went to the Olympic trials. You may see some major college prospects in some sport come out of that union at some point. Also on the collegiate level right now, I'm pretty sure Courtney Ward is still running track for Cumberland. Courtney's a sprinter. And I know she had some off-season surgeries, and I've not got to talk. Last time I talked to her, she was undecided. But according to some social media online, she was talking about going to do her track thing. So it tells me she's still running. And Courtney was an excellent little sprinter. Also going on right now, often overlooked, is we have middle school golf. I went to a middle school golf match at Deerfield early on. Coach Bruce has that team looking pretty good. I'm sure Coach Van at La Follette also has his squad hitting on all cylinders.
A recent development to me, at least, there's apparently middle school baseball now.
There is middle school baseball. It's Campbell County middle school baseball. Basically what it is, it's very hard to field a baseball team at each middle school.
It takes a lot of players to do
So
it.
instead of doing that, they pretty much take the two and mesh them. And pretty much they make them the Cougars already. And they've played, I know at Oneida, they dropped a couple of games today.
And that was at Cumberland Gap, maybe?
Up at the Gap, I do believe. And it just, it's phenomenal that we have that kind of feeder program now.
Our boys baseball team, like I said, we're off to a pretty good start.
That's another team that's seen a lot of coaching instability in the last few years, but now that Brad Collette, because Coach Browning left to take full responsibility of the girls' basketball team, and I don't even remember who the coach was after he left, but he didn't last long. They brought in Brad Collette from Union County, and he seems to have the Cougar baseball team on the right track.
That was a good hire, and hopefully the new Cougar football coach coming up next year, he's looking like he's going to be a solid
Now,
hire.
I went up and saw Coach Minot before we went and saw the baseball game. Right now it's just him and Josh James. But the beauty of that is, the reason it's just the two of them is they're basically waiting on some coaches to get out of contracts with the colleges they're with.
It looks like he may be putting together one of the better staffs Campbell County's ever had
And
at this point.
now
It remains to be seen, but he's got great potential.
I'll say it right now. Dwayne Wells did a lot for our program at Campbell County High School. He raised the bar.
He's the most successful coach we ever had. That's all you can say.
We went to the playoffs. He was kind of the situation we'll talk about in the third segment. Also kind of affects Dwayne Wells. So we'll go into that. But back to Coach Minot and Coach James. They have a good number of kids, about 50 out, doing Cougar football workouts in the off season. He says they're anywhere between 10 and 15 playing spring sports. So, future looks bright for Campbell County football.
That's big if they can get 60 players on that.
And on the front of football, we congratulate Mitchell Tipton, Campbell County graduate, is now an assistant coach under Rodney Ellison at Wartburg. So that's another Campbell County boy doing well in the football ranks. And fans, I do believe we're about to wrap up segment 2 of the inaugural sports chat. Segment 3, not going to be as nice. Stay tuned.